So, you've been looking at the news, right?
Yeah. Have you heard about Australia?
Oh, yeah. Man, the bushfires. There's like been over 2 billion animals that died, right?
I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, and the pure amount of like forests that have just been burnt to the ground. It's it's so it's tragic,
Yeah, it really is.
man. Have you heard of Kangaroo Island?
No, actually.
Well, Kangaroo Island's like really cool. There's a lot of like species in Australia that are native to just that island,
Like,
like the Ligurian bee.
um, are those like the bees we have here?
No, um, Ligurian bees like Ligurian bee is actually very different. They were imported from Italy in the 1800s, and since then, the introduction of any new bee species has been sanctioned and illegal. In Italy, the Ligurian bees actually died out because of interbreeding and disease, making Kangaroo Island the only place on Earth that they're still alive.
So they must have pretty pure genetics.
Yeah, they're actually the only bee in the world that is genetically pure. They are the only species on Earth.
Wow.
But, like, they're extremely important, but even before the fires, there's been a lot of crap going on.
Like what?
Well, because of the drought in the past, like the record drought, there's been a shortage of Ligurian honey, which means that there's been a shortage of pollination across Kangaroo Island. Now, the Ligurian bees are monumental to the development of all of the plants on Kangaroo Island. The past seasons before the fires, the trees have been producing a lot of flora, which might sound really good, but the problem is the majority of these flowers are dry and are producing minimal nectar. So all these hardworking bees have not been able to pollinate or produce the amount of honey that they should be, which is, like I said, extremely important for all of the plants and animals on Kangaroo Island.
You said that was before the fires. What happened after?
Well, after the fires, there's been over. It's been documented that there's been over 800 beehives, and I think uh, at least 115 nucleus hives have been destroyed. So, if you don't know, a nucleus hive is a man-made box hive used for honey farming. Natural beehives and nucleus hives can hold anywhere from 1,000 to 40,000 bees. So, if we're being very conservative here, there's been at least 1 million individual bees that have died because of the fire.
That's I can't even imagine. That's so much.
Yeah, there's an individual farmer who've come out. He's speculated that he's lost over 20 tons of honey and $500,000. See, 25 nucleus hives and hundreds of thousands of bees died because of these fires. So this man lost $500,000 of money that he had been expecting, which is it's not only tragic for the bee population, but it's really hurting these farmers.
Um, so you said that they're very genetically pure, and why does that make them so important?
Well, any pure strain of any kind of animal, big or small, is extremely important. Scientifically, these bees are the genetic benchmark to measure diversity caused by hybridization. Pure stock also helps farmers with the ability to rebreed the desired qualities they want back in their hives. Now, the purity of the Ligurian bees is extremely important. They play an important role in measuring diversity, and it could even help scientists protect the rest of the world's honeybee population.
Wow. Tell me a lot about honeybees.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
think
have do you know anything about any other animals that are living in Kangaroo Island?
yeah. There's it's called a dunnart. Now there are fat-tailed dunnerts in mainland Australia, which are obviously different from these dunnerts because they have a fat tail. Anyway, the Kangaroo Island dunnart is already one of the top priority threatened mammal species targeted in the national government's threatened species strategy and could face extinction. And it was speculated that they could face extinction before the fires.
Wow. So, do you know what the damage is after the fires?
Well, there's an ecologist and a coordinator for the nonprofit Kangaroo Island Land for Wildlife. She's speculated that there's only a population of about 300 Dunnerts. Again, this was before the fires, so they could have been wiped out completely. See, Dunnerts aren't burrowing animals, they're small marsupials. So when these fires happened, they don't have anywhere to hide. The It's hopeful that some of the Dunnerts may have survived by sheltering themselves in rock crevices, but even they rely on insects, and even if there are survivors, there's hardly any food for them. The only hope really for them is to be bred in captivity before they're gone completely.
Wow. Are they of any significance?
Well, we don't know. There aren't enough Dunnerts in the wild or captivity to understand their significance. It's a matter of we'll find out after they're gone.
That's terrible. Now thinking back on it, I've heard of this bird species. Um, it's called the glossy black cockatoo. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, I've heard a bit about it. You probably know more than me though.
Yeah. In the A little background information is that in the 1800s, European settlers began wiping out large swaths of drooping she oak trees, and those are the only trees that the glossy black cockatoo eats from. So these settlers began to wipe out and destroy all of these trees, which basically wiped out their population in mainland Australia.
Oh, that's really sucks. So, are they doing well on Kangaroo Island? Is there enough for them?
Um, in light of the recent bushfires in Kangaroo Island, it's estimated that up to 75% of the glossy's habitat has been destroyed. Now extinct on mainland Australia, as I've said, the only place they can survive is Kangaroo Island. Their population's been on the rise, making their total estimated population 150 birds.
Only?
Only 150 birds. That's before the fires. Their entire population could hypothetically have been wiped out in the span of less than a week. Unlike some other animals, someone could say that the birds are in the best position to escape because they can fly away and get away from the fires faster. But even if the cockatoos could get away, all the trees that they eat from and all the nuts and things that they eat are completely burned.
Wow. Like, what significance do they play to their ecosystem?
A lot like the Dunnard, not much is known about them because of the small size. Um, we really won't find out how they influence their habitat until they're all gone. There's little research for these birds because people are just trying to keep the species alive without having a lot of them. We cannot do much research because scientists are afraid of upsetting their natural life cycle. Hopefully, one day the population will make a comeback and show us their importance to humans and their own ecosystems.
That's if we're thinking optimistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been reading, like, there's been a lot of causes. There isn't one specific reason the fire started.
I heard that it's because of the very dry and just drought that has been happening.
Well, yes, and because of this drought, they've had lightning storms, which they always have lightning. It isn't because of the drought, but because they have had lightning, when it is struck, it has been able to cause fire, and because of the drought, the fire is able to spread very quickly and is very flammable.
And with climate conditions, with global warming and everything, that's probably just making everything 10 times worse.
Yeah, that's the reason it's speculated that they have had the drought. Now, it isn't just lightning, and it isn't just the drought. There have actually been over 26 people who have been arrested for starting different fires on Australia.
That's that's terrible.
Yeah,
So we're to blame for most of all of this.
yeah, when you think about it, it really does come down to humans. Like, the black cockatoo are so endangered because of deforestation, and the Dunnerts, well, since 2017, they've had mining and deforestation plans for Kangaroo Island. Even before the fire started, Australia had already been enduring the hottest and driest year on record. It's summer in the southern hemisphere, and the heat keeps on rising. Like, when we have summer here, it's winter in the south. When it's summer there, we have winter. Now,
For the economy, I've heard they've lost about $3.5 billion.
3.5 billion?
Yeah. The economy and the environment, the ecosystem, everything is being so messed up because of our own selfishness.
That's awful.